I started the recording. So, hi, Mickey. Welcome aboard.
Hello, Kate. Thank you.
I invited a few extra people. We'll see if they show
Did
up.
you?
Yeah,
Oh,
couple. I invited Tom to come back again, and
oh, that's nice. I enjoyed seeing him. Yes,
yeah, and
that was quite an experience,
it
wasn't it?
it sure was. Yeah, and the secretary, Molly, we saw her yesterday.
Yeah.
She said she may zoom in probably the second half. So she's
Okay.
busy this morning, but yeah, so we'll see. We'll see who shows up. We never know. And I
No.
did send out the invite very late today because
Oh,
yesterday I was busy from the moment I woke up.
I was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
until
I've
11
had some
o'clock.
strange days, so I mean, a whole lot of lesson learning and life stuff, to deal
Yeah,
with. So,
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be the
Lesson learned
time.
and dreams. And I
Yeah.
I am reading now. I'm reading this.
Oh,
Dreams,
dreams,
Evolution and Value of
evolution.
Fulfillment. Oh
And
my
that
God,
was. I haven't read that one. I
oh
have
my
had it
God.
for about 20.
Well, it's truly amazing.
Keep
I'm
hearing that, but I wasn't, it just wasn't the time in my life for me to be receptive. Every time I picked it up, I put it back down and I go to
mm,
my favorites, my old favorites. I'm doing a lot of catching up,
ah,
and
well,
the webpage is helping a lot
good.
because you get people, the Seth Politics page,
Oh,
the
yes.
Seth page. I
I
dare you to
just
say that
joined that one.
5 times in a row.
Yes, I did. I just joined that one, so I'm excited. Yeah. Well, what happened with us, well, me, is I got the message, listen to what Seth had to say about law of attraction.
Yeah.
Read what Seth had to say. So I went on Finding Seth, and there's really nothing. He called law of attraction value fulfillment.
Yes.
So one thing led me to another thing, which
Yes.
led me to this book. And yeah, I don't think I was ready for it a year ago or 6 months ago or 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But it is certainly resonating with me now.
Well, the hit
And
is coming to me over and over. So when you first brought it up, I thought, oh, there, here we go again. Someone's tapping me.
well, I finished the Over Soul 7 trilogy,
Yeah.
which was absolutely amazing. And it was like I was on the very last 2 pages when it was like, start this book. So I
Mm-hmm.
finished that one, jumped into this one. So it's like boom, 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 one after another. Hi, Jeff.
Hi,
Hi,
Jeffrey.
everybody.
Hello, hello. Okay, so we are live on Facebook. We are recording this, and later today, I hope, this will get uploaded to YouTube.
Mhm.
Last week's was so amazing, and we got so many good reviews, and and I didn't edit anything. I just threw it up um, and posted it. And Tom was wonderful. I did invite him back this week.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
don't know if he's going to join us or not, but the invitation is out there.
Well,
Well, he sent me an edit of that session that he did.
uh,
So
it's
that
Oh,
on
was
his
nice.
YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Tom is just a Sethi like us.
Yeah.
So he attends our Seth group, so he doesn't do the channeling thing. We're just Sethis. But that just goes to show you how people apply practical Seth in their life, and look what
Yeah.
happens.
absolutely.
I love that phrase, practical Seth.
I do too.
I think Jane would have really loved it. It's so much about what the whole thing was about. The practicality of actually knowing what reality was and how it was set up. And because he was not just coming to say, here's what it's like on the other side. He was saying, because this is what it's like, this is what you could do about it. And I love that. That made it the practical Seth. You've got to get some t-shirts with that, Jeffrey.
I use
You
it
know
all the
what? We
time.
should do some merch for the Seth
Yeah,
Talk.
yeah, truly.
What do you think?
I
Sure.
think
You're the
so.
artist. You're the
Well,
artist
yeah.
there, Kate.
My
Oh,
daughter is, as I had mentioned, is doing a website, and one of the things that was the one of the highlights of my creative career is that one day she uh, sent me on Messenger, sent me a picture, and when I looked at it, it was a picture of her and a friend of hers wearing T-shirts that had been made out of one of my designs, and that was a strange feeling,
Ah,
you know. So, but I think that your practical Seth definitely needs to be on a T-shirt. You know, it's not a
Well,
hard thing to do.
let's do it then. I
Yeah,
mean,
let's do it. Let's do it. There was something else you said in, I think it was the fifth session we all attended, and you had two phrases in that session that were both very easily worthy of being on a T-shirt. You seem to be our creative editor, our ad man, Jeffrey. You just come out with these things, and I sit here, and sometimes I don't say anything, but I sit there and I clock them away. You know?
ah. Where
sometimes
are
I say things that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. It just comes out.
It does come out, and that's the best way, is that you're not trying to do it. It's literally coming out of your creativity, just
And
flat right onto the screen.
you'll notice I'll stop and say, "Does that make any sense at all?" Yeah, I do that a lot.
You do. You do. You have a wonderful
Well,
creative.
after hanging out with Thomas for a while, I'm starting to embrace the paradox.
Ah, uh-huh. How, do you do any other creative things? Do you paint? Do you
Oh
sew? Do
my
you
gosh.
design? Do you
Oh my
garden?
gosh. Oh my gosh. Do I do other things? My whole life is creative.
Oh, good.
Now that I've retired, that's it. Everything is creative. I do a lot of websites for nonprofits.
Uh-huh.
I do graphic design, all that
Oh,
stuff. That's
graphic
why I'm saying
design.
the merch is like we can do T-shirts. I think a Seth Talk mug is just an absolute necessity.
Or a phone cover with
But
you creating
mugs
your
we
own
can.
reality on the
Yeah,
back of the phone cover so
yeah.
that it's.
Yeah, Seth Talk and what's the other one that I always say all the time? I don't remember. It's just so much part of me.
Well,
I
you've
don't
got
think
to
about
jot
it.
them down. Okay. And as the astrologer that I am, I not only want you to jot them down, I want you to write down exactly when you thought of it. Like right beside writing it, put that, look at your
And and
watch.
and which day from which time frame and
Well, no, as long as it's just the time on the watch,
which me.
because it will tell us which
I'm
ones to
playing with
pick
her.
to use. You're messing
I'm
with me.
playing with you.
You do that well also.
Which me? Which time frame? What day?
Yeah. But
What
see,
thought?
you need as many notebooks as Jane had in order to write down all the realities that you're in, because didn't he say we're in millions of realities. Every possible way that you could exist does.
Well, I've been entertaining you know what the thought that I've been entertaining lately is because this past week or so my life has not been as I envisioned my creation would be.
Oh,
So my question to my inner self is, okay, so I create my own reality. Now, can you show me how to uncreate it?
oh, that's what I'm working on this week. First
So that,
thing, bright and early tomorrow morning, I need the skills to know how to discreate something that, ominous on the horizon, but it has not appeared yet in MGM. So before it gets to the screen,
you
I
want to
want to head
uncreate
it
it.
off at the pass.
So that's our topic: is how do you if I can create it, how do I uncreate it?
Yes, yes. And I suspect that he would tell you to simply stop. I just read, someone posted on one of the pages about where he was quoted saying, you don't look at something and say, how do I get rid of it? You just very diligently project the thing you wanted it to be, the reality you wanted. Picture that. And he said, if you're looking at the thing you want to get rid of, you're wasting the time you could have put on creating the thing you want.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You shift your attention away from
That's
it.
hard.
It really is.
That is hard. I mean, I'm so positive and I'm going around trying to project all this positive stuff. But when the stink bomb appears, in front of you.
Oh, you're so
You know,
funny.
it's like, how do we get rid of this? How do
Oh,
you
no.
negate the fact that it's a stink bomb?
Smells?
Yeah, and you know, they also say that once
Open
you
a window.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
little light and
Create a
air.
window first.
So they say that once you turn your attention away from it and stop giving all the things you don't want, all this
Energy.
energy,
Yeah.
that your higher self will fill up that void with what you do want. So they
Oh, I'm sure
say
my
that's
higher self.
harder
I
than it
talk to it
sounds.
so loudly all the time now. Look, will you please do something about this? Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I met my higher self in a dream this week.
Really?
Beautiful.
That was
Do
very
tell, do
cool.
tell. Ooh,
Well,
You
I was on it.
know,
I was on an elevator and a door opened, and Donald Trump and his wife were arguing. So I was trying to find the camera on my phone, and I get a fatherly kiss on the head. And I turn around, and there's an Indian man there. And that makes a lot of sense to me because of the dreams I've been having. But I also, before falling asleep, asked to meet whoever that is. So
yeah.
that's who I think it is or
Wow.
was. So it was
Wow.
very cool.
That is wonderful.
I
Hi.
mean,
Well,
if it wasn't an Indian man, I wouldn't have got it, but I get it. So
nice.
it was cool.
Well, welcome, Audrey. And I see
Thank
Martin just
you.
popped in. Now,
Hey,
I want to
everybody.
say on Facebook, Thomas is on Facebook and he said he'll be watching and he cannot comment because he's using an iPad in landscape and it won't let him post on there, which is
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Hi, Thomas, and
Technology.
I don't know if you heard my thanks from last week, but thank you.
Yes.
We really enjoyed Thomas's visit
Yeah.
and I hope that he can join us on Zoom at other times, just as a guest, not even as a guest, just as a part of the group,
Yes.
nothing special, just chit chat with us.
Yeah. Hello, Martin.
Hi, Martin.
How you
Hello,
doing?
how you doing, Mickey?
hey,
I'm
Martin.
good, Mickey. Hi, Audrey. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, so I don't know, Facebook, I think, has done different things again.
Okay.
So trying to keep up with all this stuff is crazy, but apparently
Yes.
people are having to refresh to see comments. And so I don't know if there's special settings. I haven't run into this problem before, so do the best that you can.
Have
But
you looked at the new Facebook? Are you looking at that one? You're on
I
the old one.
I don't know what I'm on.
I think
and I don't know what other people are seeing.
Huh.
they have a choice now.
Oh,
And a lot of people choose to stay on the old one because the new one's very black background, just like the Zoom.
oh, well, I don't
But
know
it's
that I had
Huh.
a choice. I
it's
just,
just concerning. The
okay.
new format is
Huh.
really, and they've moved everything around. So
I know that
good luck.
I went to, on my computer, I went to messages to type to somebody and it opened a whole new window and it wanted me to log into something else. So yeah, it is kind of crazy. So bear with us.
Yeah.
Do the best you can. I'll try to troubleshoot as far as I can, but I'm the only one here again. I am at the Seth house. I don't know if you guys can. There's the famous windows, but I'm just gonna turn it this way because I'm shorter than Oshara. She usually has it on a big can, and I just have it on the
Oh.
table. Yeah. It's a lot easier to type when it's this way.
Yes.
It is. So I promised you guys way back in the summer, we had gotten a game from Paul and Joanne Helfrich. So the game is called Seth World.
Ooh.
I know. So this is what it looks like.
Wow.
This is the
Ooh.
game. Okay, Seth World. So that's it's kind of thin, it's not like cardboard. It's just heavy like cardstock.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has a book with it. So there's the book.
The
And
game of all it is.
Seth, yes. An open-ended game with no winners, no losers, and no rules. So this is the book. And it has intentions, and it has probable plays. There is a reference chart on the back.
Wow.
And then it comes with these little things. So I have I'll pull these out. And I was laughing at
Are
some
they
of
paint
these.
chips?
No, they're not paint chips. They're little, they're little green circles.
They
So
should be
this-
paint chips.
This
Bugs.
one says hypnosis and self-hypnosis. Can
Oh.
you guys see this right, or
Yes.
is it
Yes.
backwards?
No, it's
No,
right.
fine.
Okay,
It's
on my
right.
screen it's backwards. Okay, so and it has a little die that has a minus and a plus, and that's all that's on it is
Oh.
Huh.
minuses and pluses.
Oh.
And I don't know how to play the game, but another one says urges. Another one says the ego.
Oh, ho, ho.
So we have not even played this game. Oh, and then there's some of them that are blank. So you can
Oh,
put your
yes,
own little
yes.
intentions on those. The one that I was giggling over, there is the Oversoul, which I loved.
Yeah.
Bigfoot Country is another one. The Inner Senses, which
That's good.
we've been working with them, but also, and I don't find it now. Look at them all. There's lots of them.
Wow.
There's the codicils are on here.
Uh-huh.
And I remember quite a while ago, there was someone that used to come on, and I want to say her name was Regina, I'm thinking. And she was so interested in the codicils. And I did a lot of research, and I couldn't find even a reference to codicils in Finding Seth. Reading Oversoul 7, it's in the last book, Jeff. It's in the codicils are
Right.
Yes,
in
yes.
I was trying to
Museum of
think when
Time.
you
the
said it.
Museum of Time.
Yeah.
But they came from another Jane book. Gosh, I'm trying to think of what it is now, because
The
it's
God of Jane, maybe?
no, it wasn't the God
No.
of Jane. It was maybe Dreams, Projections. It was another Jane book anyway. Maybe it was the Psyche one. I'll have to go back and reread that, and because I really wanted to point that out. So it's in the codicils are referred to in 2 of the Jane books, not a Seth
Ah.
book.
Mhm.
But according to Oversoul 7, it really was how the world formed in the future. So living by these codicils, and it was very nice. So I encourage
I like
everybody
that.
to read the Museum of Time. And going through that book, there's so many references to this area. There's references to Walnut Street and to the Chemung River and Water Street, So Jane always really put hometown right in her books. you
Yeah.
know. And I think that's very cool.
I
Oh
really-
gosh.
Seeing the
that-
game, huh?
That was my favorite book of the Oversoul 7 trilogy.
Yeah.
It's a good example in story form of the manipulation of time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
started out, I didn't like it. I liked the first book a lot, and the second one I was riveted to. And then it started out for me, and I'm like, I don't really like this one. But boy, by the end, I couldn't put it down.
All 3 really fascinated me. The idea that she used, to write the 3 of them, I just loved the way she did that. Yeah, I think that was brilliant. But I
yes.
love the game. That looks very interesting. I'll have to look it up. Where can it be gotten?
That's what I was going to say. Is it on the market? Is it a real thing?
It was.
Still?
So the copyright on the game is Yvonne M. Buonamici, Buonamici. And her email is sethworldgame@sbcglobal.net.
Wow.
So it was copyrighted 1998, 2005.
Really?
That's what it says.
I've never
Look,
heard of it
right
before.
there.
Yeah,
See that?
we're just hearing about it.
So
That's
I'm trying to
amazing.
see. So I don't
So
know.
for everybody out there in Sethy world, if you have a favorite Seth that you want to play Santa Claus with, this would make a wonderful gift.
Oh, it
Yeah,
would, if
yeah.
it could be found. So like I said, the Helfrichs, donated this to the Seth House. So when you come, we can all play the game.
Yes, it reminds me of that
Very
other
nice.
game from Findhorn, the transformation game.
Oh, Oshara has been there and done that. I have
Ah.
not.
We have a group of friends when we were living in Corfu. There were about 7 or 8 of us who would get together once a month and play the transformation game. And it has profound ramifications for helping you create, the reality you want.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So most of this book is explaining what the little circles mean.
Mm-hmm.
The vast majority of it. There is the psychic families are in here, Sumari,
Oh,
Borlednum. Yeah. This is deep stuff.
I always forget that there are more families than just the Sumari.
Yes.
Because that was Jane's family, we've heard more about it, but I always forget that there were others.
Yeah. Now, I'm mentioning the Helfrichs. If you go to paulhelfrich.com, I think it's a .com, he has done so much research on Seth and the Seth material. And if you go into his PDFs, he's got so much information in there that is free for the download. And I actually downloaded all of them, and I'm going to try to work. He did a very extensive one on inner senses. So I'm actually thinking about what can I do with inner senses and put it on so that we can explore those. So take a look at his stuff. Him and his wife are just two very amazing people. And
Well, how do
she
you spell his
channels
last name?
Helfrich, Helfrich.
Aha.
It looks like Helfrich.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wasn't he associated with Linda Dahl for a while? I think so.
I do not
On
know.
Seth Network? I think so.
I do not know. I don't know.
Oh.
I
He's
think
been in the Seth community a long time.
yes, he has. So Bob Terrio that did our video way back when, they were very good friends because I think Paul and Joanne lived in the Philadelphia area. So yeah, there's a lot of connections, but they're just wonderful people. And he wrote a book too, and we do have a copy of it here. I do not think it's been published yet. So, but he's got so much information on his website and music. Oh my God. So he's a teacher. He's on sabbatical right now, but he teaches in the Waldorf school system. And he's just an amazing guy, both of them. And Joanne, she's a channeler, and she channels her entity that she channels. Her name is Rose, and she's written many, many books with Rose's assistance, very similar to Jane.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's.
I'm looking at his website now.
Mhm.
And it's interesting when you mention the music and whatnot. Yeah, there's a
Yep,
lot of free music,
and
stuff to listen to.
him and his wife do it together. They write the music together, and then they work with the kids, and it's really a family affair.
Uh-huh. The
Yeah.
first thing you see when it comes up is Oshara's picture. It goes back to the Seth page that they have, and the first thing on their Seth page, you see a picture of Oshara.
Really? I did
And
not
Rick
know
Stack.
that.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's funny. She's been around a long time.
Ah.
Yeah. So on
That's good.
Facebook, we got a
That's
lot of
good.
people watching on Facebook. Tom is on, and Maureen Roy. Tom was able, so he said, thanks, I would love to join at another time. He had to detach his iPad just so that he could connect. Martin is on, said hello. Martin Bilecki, I think you say it.
Yes, yes.
Yoli Walsh is on. Let's see. Maureen says, wow, that's amazing. Haven't heard anyone mention the game before. We didn't even know there was such a game. It showed up in the mail.
That is great.
We get all kinds of surprises here. because remember the little deck of cards that I showed you a couple of weeks ago, and we pulled some, which they're now at home, but the Helfrichs gave us those as well. So they are all belong to the Seth house too.
Ah, see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to enjoy going through their website. I pulled it up and I'll watch it after we get off of here. Very interesting.
Yeah, that'll be something to look up. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
he's got really good information on there. And like I said, I'm trying to figure out what I can do with it, whether I do it on YouTube or we do it on Facebook, but I would like to make something interactive out of it once I delve into it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When we were on vacation and I was reading the Seth material, and I came to the inner senses, and I was sitting at the beach at the Mediterranean, and I'll never forget it. It was Christmas Eve, and I'm sitting there on the beach, and I read and recorded all of the inner senses from that book.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, now I want to like really use them. So side time, I think we use, but there's so many others.
Oh,
Mhm.
it has truly been a lifetime of digging into the Seth truths. I was about, I don't know, maybe 30 when I ran into it, or slightly less, maybe. And it's been from then to now, and I have a vast amount to still learn from it.
Well, and
Barely scratched the surface.
I feel that way too. I've only been doing this for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I am trying to absorb it as fast as I can. But, with being with Oshar every day, we talk about Seth every day. We
Yeah.
practice Seth. We practice practical Seth every
Yes.
single day.
Yeah.
We do live our lives this way, and it's making a huge difference in how we look at things, how we view the world.
It's a long way back, too.
Yeah.
When I just yesterday talked to someone that has not changed their perspective since, say, 40 years ago when I knew them. And to run into them and talk to them now, it was very difficult to relate as people because I've come so far from what was the accepted reality. It was from a very, very intensely traditional conservative Christian background. And I had no idea how far I'd come from that.
Mhm.
Until I saw the comparison. I mean, that was interesting.
Yeah.
So I have to find a way that we can communicate.
Yeah. Yeah. that is a tough
Because
one.
every reference I make is something that's antithetical to them. I mean, they look at me askance, because
Right.
when you're that intensely indoctrinated in the religion, and I mean, that's up to anybody if they want to be in that, but there are such degrees and levels of it. And so when you're at cult status, when you get to the point where it's almost, well, this is a person who's evangelical. So they're so intensely caught up in it that it's very difficult to relate to anything I care about.
Yeah.
They look at me askance for absolutely everything I believe in, and I couldn't mention what I do on Sunday afternoons. I couldn't, it just. I so much wanted to say, "Hey, come and see," "Hey, we're getting together," and I had to catch myself.
I
My
think
sister's the same way.
I can't speak for everyone, but I know when I'm around normies,
There you go again.
Yeah.
I tend not to say anything.
Normie.
I tend to be quiet.
Yes, exactly.
Now, because of what we do here, normies don't often come near us.
No.
I guess I want to say that. I mean,
This is a very close family number, so I mean,
definitely the people that are drawn to the same thing we're drawn to are the ones that show up.
yes.
So and those that don't really, have fallen away. And it is true that like attracts like, and that is what I've seen that.
few people in my life are aware of this side of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I can ever hope to bring them into it. They're just happy as clams in whatever they're in. And
Mhm.
it's not for me to tell them, hey, you ought to be doing this or you ought to be doing that. I have to let their reality play out the way they want it to, the way they're creating it.
Right.
Absolutely,
Um,
because they are perfect just the way they are. And
exactly.
and that's the
Right.
thing that I love the most is that everybody is where they belong to be.
Right.
Now I do alter how I speak to people. I try to meet them where they are, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I don't throw everything at them all at one time, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I get so excited that
Yeah.
it just all comes out.
Oh, do you know what I've discovered through my walk with Seth and all the Seth groups I've belonged to and the online stuff is there is a heck of a lot of Sethies out there,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
all alone with nobody to talk to,
Right.
just spilling over with
Yeah.
all this Seth stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they see you and it's like they talk for 10 minutes without taking a breath. They're just so excited. They have all this Seth stuff coming out and nobody ever to talk to before.
Well, invite them here.
Yes.
Get them here. Get them
I'm
here.
sure if we asked whether you'd find that people on our Facebook chat,
I'm inviting. I invite people every week.
Yes.
Every week, join us.
So
I
question
can't-
to
I
question to
can't.
Facebook. How
Say that.
many of our Facebook followers that are chatting with us right now felt alone until they found us?
Oh, Audrey.
Ooh.
I had nobody
Me
to
too.
talk to.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Maureen earlier, she
Me
says,
too.
I started reading Seth in 4th grade, which only made me an even weirder kid, LOL.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
it's great.
Um, Tom
True.
agrees. He says, absolutely. We have a group of friends here, and this is what we talk about when we get together. We have our own mystery school. I love that. I love that. And
I do too.
he agrees, normies aren't the ones that show up in my life either. And Maureen says, well, some of us tend to be loners to begin with for a variety of reasons. And that's true.
Yeah.
That's not me though.
Yeah.
I definitely put myself out there and I invite people into my life. But definitely there's certain people that will come in, and then there's other people that as soon as they hear me talk, they just go away and I don't see them anymore.
Mhm.
And I've discovered that even when I'm alone, I'm not really alone.
Of
Right.
course.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but
No, it does. It does.
Right.
No
Well,
one is, but they
Aud-
just so
right.
few people know it.
Right. Well, Audrey
That's the
just said
thing.
she met you met your guide, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think. Yeah,
I love that.
my higher self or guide.
Higher
or-
self guide. Yeah.
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 Love that.
That's wonderful. And I've had that experience and it's very strange afterwards. I mean, because the thing that stuck with me was that sensation. I have never felt anything that was such a pure, absolutely unadulterated and powerful love vibe. I've never known anything like it.
The
It
fatherly
was,
kiss, the fatherly kiss on the head. I didn't get that as a kid, so
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And the feel of it must have been really profound.
it was.
I knew what it was because of how intense it was. There's nothing I've ever felt on earth that was like it.
I woke up thinking, why didn't I turn around and hit him? Being a New Yorker, if someone had kissed me on the head, that would have been on. But I
Yes,
knew
that's so
I knew what
true.
it was because I asked for it.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's so funny, Audrey, because I lived in New York 17
Yes.
years and I know the deal.
Someone kisses
We,
you on the head, it's on. Yes.
Are we talking about the channeling exercise that we were engaging in this last week?
That was my
Is that
my
what that
dream.
is? That?
It was a dream that she had.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And mine
Okay.
was
Because I know
years ago.
Ankara.
Yeah. When I suddenly changed
Okay.
my life totally. I had that experience and I left it to, I literally totally transformed my life. I mean,
Me
left
too.
home, everything, left country, everything. It just
States.
totally transformed everything. I'll
Wow.
never forget it. Yeah. You
Mm.
look awfully brighter and fresher or something tonight, Martin. I don't know what it is.
Oh, I've got the sun
Shining.
shining on me
Oh,
Have
good.
you?
through my window.
You got
I thought that
sunshine.
was
That's it.
I thought that was you radiating your own light.
I did too. I just,
So
I'm in the spotlight here.
Miriam is on and she's going to be leaving soon. She's got to go out in 15 minutes, but she said she's listening, not participating at this time. But no, she says, but no, I haven't fallen away, just being a Jeffrey.
uh-huh.
And a big grin, big.
So Jeffrey is now a verb.
A noun. A noun.
A noun,
Oh,
yeah.
now, yeah.
Not,
Proper
yeah,
noun.
yeah. Too funny.
We can
Well,
turn you into a verb though.
Another T-shirt for my merch shop.
there you
Yes.
go. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Well, you could be turned into a verb. To Jeffrey would be to come up with some spectacular Seth term.
He keeps doing it.
That's good.
He keeps doing it. Now, before I get too far into this, I just charged my battery, so I'm at 100%. And I want to do the tour of the apartment. And I'm going to turn the computer around, so I'm not going to be able to see, but you guys just tell me, tip it up, tip it down. Okay, I can hear you guys. So I will just start. Let's see. I'll start at the front door like we're just walking in. So let's see. This is the front door. And I got to show this. This is so classy. That's the number 5. It's in magic marker and not very good, but magic marker, right? We got just terrible.
I like it.
This is the icky hallway. This is the icky hallway. So when you come in though, this is what you see. There.
Wow.
That's what you see. And
That's pretty cool.
Let me lock the door here behind me. So when we first saw this apartment, it was this awful blue color everywhere. And you can kind of see it up at the top.
Oh yeah.
It kind of bleeds through.
Yeah.
It was so blue. And they painted everything blue. And the ceiling, if you can see right here, there's kind of a square that you can see. There was just a piece of paneling that they put up there because water had come through from the tub upstairs.
Oh.
And the ceiling was just brown. And I'm assuming it was from Jane's smoke and other people's too. Just brown ceiling. So we have really, now these we think are original. So all we did was paint over them. We left them here though. Now, when I used to read the books and I would hear that they put Willie in a closet, I used to feel so bad for him. But here, I'm going to show you. This is one of the closets. It's a room.
Yeah.
It's a room. So in this particular closet, we have all the books that came from Tian Mei, from Dr. Sue. So these are the books that Seth wrote. And these are the books that Dr. Sue has written, and they're all in Chinese. Can you see that little mirror there, the circle? Okay, that was the circle and the, God, it's so hard to do this. I'm not tall like Oshara, but this was a light fixture. So the light bulb went in there, in that hole. So Jane, and it was in the bedroom over the bed. So that's what Jane looked at every night. We couldn't save it to use it because it's broken, but we kept it and we just have it here on display.
It looks awesome.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we have, these are some magazines that came from Germany, And I mean, this is crazy. Look at these. This is Germany. There's the house.
Oh.
And this one says City of Elmira. I know the house is in there somewhere else. I'm really trying to balance things. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the book, the Seth Material. This was the first channeling book when Seth came through on the Ouija board through session, I don't know, 20 something. This is that thing I posted for you guys, Her Prayer of a Wiser People. So this is the original that we got. God, we got more. So these are more paint chips. So she found them by the bay window. These came from the bedroom. So, I mean, we kept everything.
Wow.
Now this, Deb Tejada, she illustrated that, and we do use that for the Seth house for what the house could look like.
That's very well done, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful, just beautiful. And she's wonderful. She did our website, and she made it look very professional and easy enough that we could keep up with it. So again, we're back in the living room.
I love that the fridge is in the living room. I just love that.
Yeah.
Well, you know that Jane and Rob kept it in the bathroom, and I'll show
I
you
do
where
know
I
about that.
think it was. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I'm walking towards the kitchen. Now, we've shown the kitchen before with Oshara standing in it. Now here we are standing in it. This is it. I'm up against the windows right now. This is it.
Yeah.
Just this. And I'm turning around, and then that's I'm looking directly at, so the gray house, that's Walnut Street, and Water Street is over there.
Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, we don't usually show this, but I'm going to show you this. This is awesome. This is like my favorite part of the house. There is this little nook, and they never referred to it. And I don't know if you could see in there.
Yes.
Can you see in there?
Yes.
So there's a turntable in there that is not hooked up, but you can see the grooves on the floor, and it's big enough for somebody to get in.
Yes, I was thinking that.
Well, nobody has done that yet, so we don't know exactly what it was for, but we were told.
That is strange.
Isn't that cool, though? I love it. We were
Shades
told.
of Anne Frank.
we were told that this was the bedroom closet when it was the master bedroom, when it was a one-family home.
Oh.
So I love shoes. I think that was a shoe closet.
Oh.
You know, on a turntable. That's just my fantasy. These are the famous bay windows. And I'm sure that old radiator. So everything here is steam heat. So if when I'm walking around, you hear a lot of banging and clanging, it's the heat. It's on.
That's what mine does.
And I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
I can see us now. Oh, crap. I should have. Wait, let me make it big. I should have done this.
Wow.
I should have done this for people. I forgot.
It's good. It's good.
Wait a minute. You guys could, but it's not recording. I have to pin it to make it. There we go. Now people could see it on full screen. There.
Yeah.
So that is the original mirror. It's been on there since 1888. That is the mirror, because we are standing in what was the bedroom in 1888. So this mirror is the mirror that Seth came through. This doorway is where the apparition came through, which is so cool. So we're going in now. This takes you to the bathroom. So the bathroom is bigger than the kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah,
by a long
you see
shot.
this? And it's just done amazingly. So this is leaded glass windows. Some are broken. We've fixed a few. It has subway tiles on the walls. And
I have those leaded crystal, the leaded windows in my kitchen.
Nice.
Yeah, my kitchen is like that.
This is
and my living room.
real marble. And the floor is real marble. I didn't know that, but this is all real marble.
Wow.
And a realtor was here, and he's like, how you can tell is if it has marble thresholds. And yes, they do. Right there And then there's another one right there.
Yes.
So this sink is original. And we know that because a plumber was in here and he was so excited about the trap. He's like, they just don't make them like that anymore. And we do believe that this mirror, the oval one, is original to the house.
Mhm.
And we think the one behind me was probably from the 50s. So we're
Mhm.
thinking both mirrors were when Jane and Rob lived here. And I just love, you can just see into the mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Obviously the toilet is new, but Jane also talked about in the books, the shower.
Mm-hmm.
The shower. Look at the spigots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Wow.
6, 7, 8 spigots.
What?
8. Yeah, you see them all?
Yes.
Now, none of them work. They did the shower head at the top. That's the only one that works right now. But our plumber said they can work again.
Oh.
So it's all marble. It probably had a door at one time, but we just have a curtain up now.
Mm-hmm.
But how amazing is that? And everything, like all of this here is built-ins. And they had such cool little things like this, right? Isn't that cool? It's a little broom
Yeah.
holder. And
Yeah.
it says, I don't know if you can read it. It says broom holder. And I'm sure that Jane and Rob had their broom here. They used it every day. So yeah, that's what it looks like in there.
Now, where in there do you think the refrigerator was?
I think it was right here. I think this was the
Oh.
refrigerator because it is the only outlet.
Oh, yes.
Mm.
So I think the refrigerator was right here next to the toilet. And,
Oh,
and I
God.
know that Seth would say to them, that's really not healthy.
No,
You
it's
really
not.
should put it somewhere else. But it was in the bathroom. Yeah.
Oh,
So
my.
anyway, and this room, when we came here, this had a ugly, ugly drop ceiling. So we took the drop ceiling down and all of this beautiful mold and crown molding was above it. So
Yeah.
we put a,
Oh, wow.
So we had our guy, he did a beautiful job, really did. These are glass. Look at this.
Oh, yes.
Can you see that? These are
Nice.
glass. These
That's so
are
yesterday. Oh, my.
these are from the 1888s. Now there's one over here. They lost one here, but this
Mhm.
is a new remake. So
Mhm.
somebody did try to make it better.
Mm.
All right, then we come into this room and this was their bedroom. I'll turn that on.
Yeah.
The bedroom is very small. I think the bathroom is bigger than the bedroom. And Jane used to put the bed this way. So that would have been the head.
Oh, yeah.
Because she liked to look out the window. But we put the
Mhm.
bed the way Seth said, because that is facing north. So if you come and you stay at the Seth house, your head will always be
Yeah.
north, your feet always south. And I have to walk in the room to turn the light on, but this is another place they used to
It's
put.
frozen.
This is another closet.
It's frozen.
Oh, no. Okay. Can you see it now? Am I back? Mickey?
Yes.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
you're back.
Whoa.
Yep.
All right. So
Yep.
I'm not going to be
Yeah.
able to go any further than this. I'm losing my
And
signal.
it's freezing again.
Okay. Well, can you see? I'm in the bathroom again. All right. Okay.
We can see it, but the image is frozen. Okay.
Is it back
There you
now?
go.
I'm back in the living room. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's all we're
Yeah.
going to be able to see. So you could see into those rooms though, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that was the bedroom.
It's bigger than one thinks.
It is. And it's, it rents as a 2-bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if I would say that because so in the very back where I lost signal, that was Rob's art studio. So that's rented as a 3rd bedroom. But it's very cold in there. Like you have to, it does have a radiator, but it's very cold.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Oh, Tom wants to know, is there a way to set you as the active speaker? Yes, pin me. But I stopped doing it now. So. you know, you can just click on it and say pin, like you
That's
click
right.
on the dot, 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 and you can say pin, and that
Upper
makes
right.
it,
Yeah, upper right.
Yeah. Sorry
If
about
you
that,
right
guys.
click, yeah. When you scroll, I mean, not scroll. Yeah, I guess it is scrolling.
Roll over it. Yeah.
When you roll over that right corner, it gives you the 3 dots.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, oh my God. So people have been commenting. How cool is that? Oh, sorry, Tom. Yes, I did go full screen eventually. Let's see. Maureen said, strange things happen when single family old homes are turned into multifamily units. She lives in one as well. Maureen said, my dishwasher is in the bathroom next to the toilet in what
Ooh.
was a shower stall.
Oh,
Yeah. So I guess it happens all the time. So, and what I know about this building is everywhere that there was a porch, they've made it into kitchens, like which
Oh.
is crazy. So when I was standing, I'll show you here. So this flat roof, that was a wraparound porch.
Oh.
That is now the kitchen and bedroom of apartment 1A. So that's the other apartment that we rent. So that's the one that we use as the welcome center. Yeah. And then over here, same thing. That was a wraparound porch in the back. Actually, that was an addition. And now it's their dining room and kitchen. And on the other side of the building, on the east side, they made the porches upstairs kitchens. So they are literally sinking. So that's one of the first things we need to do is secure the building and then shore up all of the foundational work. When we went into apartment 3, which is the one in the front of the house, where Mrs. Cunningham lived, when we went into, I want to say it was the bathroom and the side bedroom, east side, it's dipping down maybe 4 to 6 inches.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see it.
That's
because that
incredible.
one had the same marble floor. So we know that was an original. So the house is in need of repair, for sure. The landlord keeps up with anything that's, the power goes out or the furnace or it gets a leak. He does take care of things, but he doesn't make things pretty and he isn't proactive. So, but he owns several apartments and I'm sure that they keep him really busy.
Yeah.
So we would love to take this one off his hands.
Exactly. I was thinking.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm so sorry I lost signal going into the back of the house.
Just for a few seconds.
Do you want me to try to go back again? Because the art studio is awesome.
It's up to you. But I'm wondering why it lost signal.
Well, because our internet is in the downstairs apartment.
I see.
And we're going further away from it. So when I first came in this afternoon, I went into the bathroom bedroom and all I could smell was skunky pot. It's coming from people in the building.
Are we going down there?
No.
I was gonna say I'm free for the afternoon.
Yeah, hello. Jeffrey and I will come do some research.
You'll have to talk to the other tenants. That was not us.
Because I live in California, and here it ain't no thing.
No, it's
not. Well, I
don't think here in England.
I don't think it's much of a thing here. It's just not our thing.
Well, I've heard that there are a number of states that have now declared it legal. So
it is here now.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's legal here. It's recreational or medicinal or whatever. It's just not our thing. I mean, when we can get into a state of consciousness, when we're, communing with the other side and everything is peaceful and beautiful, and why do we need drugs to induce that? Why?
I don't think they induce
it. Plant. I never wanted to do anything with it. I just hated not being able to grow it. I'm a plant person. I like that. So
Yeah,
like, why can't I grow that? Why are you telling
right.
me I can't grow a plant? It's just like, that's wrong.
I'm not thinking that it, quote, induces that. It's not a substitute for the induction process, but it certainly can be an enhancement. So that's all I have to say on that.
And you know, when you get to be a certain age, those aches and pains
Yes.
and the arthritis and
Yeah.
the old people things, it helps. And Martin, you know, here in California, yeah, I grow a couple every year because I don't buy anything. If I want to, anything that I want to do, I comes from me. And it's
Wow.
really amazing when you,
Yeah.
because for so long it's been so hush hush, and now
Yeah.
so many people don't drink anymore
Right.
because it affects their life in such negative ways, and the next day for
Mhm.
work and stuff,
hmm
where they can come home and smoke a half a joint, and you know.
And plus, it doesn't have to, for those who don't want to, quote, smoke cigarettes and therefore don't want the smoking process in their lungs, it's 1,000 times more potent if you just throw it in the pan with some scrambled eggs. So
Yeah. See,
it's
I
like,
can see
we're
that. I
talking
can see
about the
that.
difference of what people are used to when they smoke
Mm.
it.
I have a vaporizer. I don't smoke anything anymore.
If you put it in food, it lasts
Mhm.
like 4 to 6 hours. So that's a whole other thing.
See,
But
I
The
only I
oil is
only
very
grow
good for you.
basil, tomatoes,
Yeah,
and sage.
yeah, I have basil. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
might be missing on a cash crop for the household.
Hello.
Yeah. Elmira has
Forget
its.
the paint chips.
No, 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 no. Not
I'm
gonna,
just teasing.
not
I
gonna
know
go
that
there.
it's taboo in a lot of places, and I don't want to get in trouble. And I was
Yeah.
That's
just
funny.
teasing.
That's
That
right.
is
Don't get in
hilarious.
trouble, or I'll change the password.
That is funny.
Yeah,
That is so funny.
it's just something we definitely don't promote. I mean, we don't.
You know
And
what's-
you know what? I know that Jane, she drank almost every single session. She had a
Yes.
beer, she had some wine,
Or
and it
wine.
would help
Yeah.
her to relax. And
Well, it
I
would have
just,
helped her arthritis to have had the
little cannabis
cannabis
once in a while.
because the effect is really quite profound.
mhm.
It's quite profound.
Well, they found out it was one of the herbs that was burned in the incense in the temple
Yes.
in ancient Israel. Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, when they would combine it with cinnamon and some of the other herbs that they were using, would actually have an hallucinogenic quality
Mm-hmm.
in that combination. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was called cannabosum, which, your really strict, tight
It was called
tight
what?
theologians won't admit that's what it was called, cannabosum.
Oh,
Mm.
That's the Hebrew word for it. And it's like, that's clearly cannabis. You
yes.
can't get the really uptight theologians, they won't admit it.
Yes.
They
That's
absolutely won't admit that
very,
that's what it is.
that's the first time I've ever heard of that. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
You know, cannabis has been used for thousands and thousands of years,
Exactly.
not only for medicinally, but also for textiles and paper and
Mm.
Constitution is written on cannabis. Yep.
What?
Get
Yeah.
out.
money
Seriously.
used to be hemp paper. Money used to be printed on it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the settlers were people used to be required to grow it.
Yep.
Really?
The cash crop. Yeah, not for smoking. It was for
Paper.
textiles and
Mhm.
paper
Yeah.
and
Well,
stuff.
hemp is
Yeah.
a version of it that is very profound in its use.
Yeah, it's the hemp variety that it's written on. Yeah.
Mhm,
There
mhm.
were hundreds of products made from
Did
it.
you know that?
When we lived in Corfu, there was a shop in town where everything in the whole shop had been made from it. And they sold everything from food to clothing to household products and so forth, and paper and
Mhm.
cards and everything. So,
I grew up in Kentucky, and during the war, the farmers were required to grow it for rope.
yeah.
They had acres and acres of their field that would be chained off with chains, and it would be marked of how many acres it was and stuff. No, we were required to grow
That's
it.
very interesting.
You know that hemp and marijuana are just two varieties. That plant family has a whole lot of other plants like
Exactly.
mulberry and rhubarb and
Exactly.
buckwheat, and yeah, just stuff
I'd
that
love
people
to
wouldn't
have
even
heard Seth.
imagine.
I'd love to have heard Seth speak on it, you know, and what he thought of
Hops
it.
are a marijuana related plant too. Yeah.
Really?
I
Yep.
didn't know any of that. Rhubarb surprises me.
Yeah, rhubarb. Yep. And mulberry. Yep.
Wow. And
Buckwheat.
Like a good rhubarb pie.
I do too. I was thinking that.
I'm-
I
Now we
really
know
do.
They
why.
used to tell us we couldn't eat
But
the
the
leaves of the
rhubarb,
rhubarb. I'm wondering why.
The rhubarb leaves are poisonous.
Are they?
Yes,
Okay.
you only eat the stems. You do not eat the leaves. They are poisonous.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Here's
never
a-
did eat them, but
Here's a cute little story. My neighbor a couple doors down has rabbits in her backyard. What it was, people moved and their pet rabbits got loose, and so they're kind of neighborhood pets. They live in their backyard. They were losing their hair and they were having some medical problems. And I gave her some leaves, and they just loved it, just loved
Wow.
it, and
Yeah.
cleared up all of their skin problems, and they're happy bunnies now.
Oh, that's
Wow.
nice. Oh, I
That's
love
awesome.
bunnies. I do.
I think it's
Mhm.
interesting that the community has taken care of these white rabbits, one with a black circle around its eye. And
Oh, cool.
they're out in my geraniums all the time.
Oh, wow. That is
Mm.
wonderful.
Bunnies.
I love them. And I especially love the idea that they're free to move from one person to another. You know, the whole neighborhood is taking care of them. That's lovely. That's really lovely. Oh, I'm a nut about animals. Yeah.
You know, when they were talking about putting robots in our store where I work,
Oh,
I
they
had a
have them
dream.
here.
I had a dream that they made them look like rabbits. So you'd go in and there would be these rabbits stalking the shelves.
That's like Harvey.
Why? I don't know, but yeah, exactly.
That is funny. Oh God. I mean, can you imagine, Audrey, if you the doors had opened on the elevator and there were two big giant rabbits standing there, you know?
I like that better than what I saw.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh God. But we seem to have gotten off into fantasy this
A
time.
little bit.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
bit. Well, so last week was so full of all kinds of stuff. Today, I just really came with showing the house. I wanted to show the game. I do have the side time meditation that we can do, but it's very loose. I have,
Mhm.
I had no plan, so to speak.
Well, Shara asked us to do some channeling this last week, and I did, and I had some results.
Whoa,
Ooh.
Nothing
tell us.
earth-shattering, but
Well,
yeah, I actually requested. I made the request for an entity to come through, and it didn't come through right when I requested it, but it came through. Well, the entity that I channel, it was him, came through a little while later, and it was while I wasn't even thinking about it, just suddenly I started talking, but it wasn't the thoughts weren't in my head, they were only in my mouth.
Mhm.
So, and I wasn't recording it, so I tried to write it down right out. I realized what was happening. Like, okay. Yeah, I mean, it went on for like 2 or 3 sentences, and it was just, these words were coming out of my mouth, but they weren't in my head. That's
Interesting.
how it works.
but you were able to hear it and remember it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I wrote it down if you want to hear it. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's, like I said, nothing earth shattering, but I better put my glasses on so I don't read something that's not there. Okay. Said emotions are the fuel on which spirit feeds. Spirit thrive on the energy of which they are made. Hateful and fearful spirits find power in that emotion, even as loving souls are drawn to signals of joy and peace. Love will never drain us, however. it is darkness which hollows the heart.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love the way you put that.
Darkness that
Yeah.
swallows the heart. I like that.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
that's
And then
wonderful.
I had a second channeling experience, which I didn't even request. It just happened. I went in to make payment for the gas that I was buying a friend, and I went to put my card in, and you know, it wants you to sign your signature. Well, I went to sign my signature, but I didn't sign my name. When I looked down, I had signed the name Ron, and it was in a completely different handwriting.
Whoa.
Wow.
I was like, what? I actually said to the store owner, I said, my name's not Ron. And he looked at me like okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I cleared it and wrote my name in, but it's like, wow, like automatic writing it was, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So that's like, and that's how the channeling works for me the best is with a pen or pencil.
Mhm.
Not even so much with typing. Typing doesn't work as well. As if I've got a pen or a pencil on paper, it works extremely well.
I was going to say, that's what interests me more than voice
Yeah.
channeling is automatic writing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't do any.
I tried, to no avail.
I didn't try. It just wasn't for me this week.
Hmm.
As I had told Kate some time ago, although I had done it before, I was in my 20s and I haven't done it since.
Hmm.
So it's been a very long time. I'm not sure that I
Um,
get into that now. But anyway, it's an interesting thing. I love when I hear about how it goes for others. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Get a
I have
lot
the
of
I have the
communication while I'm
title of the
asleep.
book, and that's it.
You
Yeah.
have what?
The title of the book that's coming.
And it
Oh.
is.
Conversation with Oneself.
Oh,
And
Okay.
I'm not in the right space to do all that, so I kind of tuned it out. It'll come
Mhm.
when I'm ready.
mhm.
That's what it's called.
Well, last night I got some guidance about a children's book.
Oh,
And I'm really excited about it. And it was like I got a concept. And I'm not a writer at all.
mhm.
But I got a concept, and this is what you need to do. So I'm gonna figure out how to fit this into my life and what to do with it, and how do you
Mhm.
become a writer, and whatever. But
I'm not going to
children-
worry about it. I'm just going to let it happen.
Yeah.
well, I
Wasn't
got the first piece, so I know the concept and I know the players.
Yeah.
So
Didn't Jane write a children's book, or there's some reference to a children's book in the Oversoul 7 where he reads to her out of the book every night?
Yes.
I got that all mixed up. It's
that
from one of
that
them.
was in the middle book. So the further education of Oversoul 7.
Mm.
I don't know if that book was published anywhere else though, but yes, it is in there. So there was a children's book, and then she did the book. She did the book
Wouldn't
to
they call it,
Leonard, which looks
like-
like a children's book.
Didn't she call it like the little book or the little? I don't remember.
Well, hold
That
on.
sounds very
I'm walking
familiar,
away.
The little book sounds very familiar.
Adventures in
He would read out
Consciousness.
of the book every night.
Yeah.
Before she went to bed, or her bedtime story would be reading out of the book. I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
don't
Children's
have
books.
it here. I only have the first book.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Now she did this book, which looks like a children's book.
A little book.
Oh,
a
maybe
minute.
that's what I was
That's
thinking
it.
of.
So actually, she did. It's Mary Dillman put this together. So this is a little book to Leonard,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
Leonard was the man that lived in apartment 4,
I
and
see.
he got sick, and she sent him all this stuff, and I cannot see what I'm flipping, so I can't read it.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some of her paintings.
That is really nice.
Yes.
Wow.
And that.
Poems for a
Imagine.
friend in the hospital.
Yep.
Huh.
And Leonard just passed away a
Did
few
a
years
part
ago.
of-
We never did meet him, but one of his nieces or nephew came here to meet us.
That is so
Hmm.
cool.
Now, this is available to purchase. This is on Mary Dillman's site. Oops, did I miss a page here? There's that. So, I mean, she was so giving of her time and her talents.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, you know, when Mary found it, she put this little book together.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, she was a beautiful artist. And you know, everybody should look at Ron Card's Facebook page. He
Yeah.
has been posting her artwork that, I mean, she did some pieces that are just amazing. One in particular of a street, and it's just, I love it. Oh, what does that say? There's words there. Can you guys read that?
This sketch was discovered by Deb Tejada on the
Oh,
back of one of the paintings in this book shortly before going to press. Deb oversaw all aspects of the book's production, and before she pointed this out, the drawing seemed not to exist.
whoa. So Deb
Oh.
Tejada is the same woman that did the Seth painting, the Seth House
I
painting.
see.
Yes, or it's a sketch.
Yeah,
So anyway, that's the book to Leonard.
that's really nice.
Um,
Frameable stuff.
yes, yeah, yeah. We don't have that in a frame yet. Um,
No, but I mean, each page would make a nice framed thing.
mhm, right, right. So Ron has found so many treasures of her artwork. So there was the one of the city streets with a fountain and the perspective, and it's all watercolor, and the colors are so vibrant, and it's just beautiful work. I mean, I just love her artistic view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Very nice.
I think most of the paintings were done when she lived at the Hill House. I think
Mhm.
when she was here, it was sit here and write. It was type and type and type and type. When she went to the Hill House, I think she was a little freer with being able to paint and be creative in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it was so much work back then because we're talking about typewriters.
Oh, yeah.
And carbon copies.
Carbon. Oh God.
Yeah. Now,
Whiteout.
people that knew her, that were friends with her, said that she typed at such an unbelievable speed, and they weren't electric typewriters back then.
Yeah.
So, you know, she could type at such an unbelievable speed that she had to be in trance doing automatic typing even
Right. Right.
when she was doing her work.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. You know,
Because back when I went to school, every girl had to learn typing,
mhm.
and you were considered not even adequate to be a secretary if you couldn't type 150 words a minute.
Mhm.
Well, typing was a required course in
When
my
I
high
taught-
school.
Huh?
Typing was a required
When
course in
I-
my high school. Go ahead.
Junior high
I
school
taught
here.
myself to read.
You taught yourself
I
to what?
I taught myself to read and write. It only took me about 6 months. The school officials, they said I would never learn, severely dyslexic. And, but I did, I taught myself all on my own. And the way I did it was on a typewriter. I could write on a typewriter before I could by pen or pencil.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long time, when I started using a pen and pencil, it would be super, super straight, just like a typewriter. It took me a long time to get out of that.
Very interesting. Oh.
That's awesome. We are unlimited beings. I mean, you know, here the school's telling you you're never going to be able to read and write, yet you did it. You found a way to do it yourself. You know,
Yes.
that I applaud that.
Taught
That's
myself
amazing.
taught myself in 3 different languages, and it only took me 6 months.
Wow.
I was just a kid at the time too. I was like 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
16.
Yeah. And it was, yeah.
You were just too smart for their system.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Absolutely.
maybe. I became ill and I couldn't go to school, so I was stuck at home, and that was when it happened. I found this old typewriter that my mother had, never used, and I picked the heck out of that thing.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Anybody
it is.
remember the mimeograph machines?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Get
Yes.
ink everywhere.
Get
I-
ink all over the
I
place.
love the smell.
Having to ink the drum and
Mm.
all that stuff.
Yeah,
You get tests in high school and they'd still be warm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Gosh,
We've
we're
We've come
dating
such a
ourselves.
long way technologically. It's
We have the kids are
true.
like sitting home now.
It's astounding how
Yeah.
much we've all changed how things were
It's
done, you know, to go
changed.
into the digital age.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
keep seeing people post on
Wow.
Facebook, does anybody know what this is? And they show all these different things from back in the 50s.
Mhm.
You
I
know?
remember when we first got a push button telephone
Yeah.
instead of the rotary
Mhm.
dial.
Well,
Yep,
they did an
Yeah.
experiment recently where they put these teenagers in a room with some regular phones from back in the 50s, and they didn't know, they kept trying to dial without lifting the receiver.
Oh.
And then they'd lift the
Oh.
receiver and
All
talking
right.
to it, but they couldn't, well, it's not connecting. Well, you didn't dial anyone.
Oh,
But they had no clue what to do with a regular rotary phone.
wow.
And
I
that
grew
would have
up,
never crossed my mind.
I grew up with a party line.
Yes, me too.
Mhm.
Yes.
Me
That
too,
was
me
my
too.
earliest memory of it, was that, you know, you have to be careful what you say because others might be on there.
Yep, they can
Uh-huh.
listen in.
Mhm.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
My father put a lock on our
Yeah.
phone with 4 girls.
Oh,
Ah,
I've heard
Yeah, but
about
you knew how
locking
to
the
pick it
phone.
with your hairpins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
I would tap it on I would tap the number, and sometimes it worked and most times it didn't. Somehow
Oh,
I would get through it.
that's funny.
it
I
is.
remember when we still had letters for the exchanges like Juniper, and
Yes.
we didn't have just all numbers.
Oh yeah, I don't remember letters. We always had numbers.
Elgin
Boulevard
1396. That was my phone number when I was about 5. I still
Wow.
remember it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I mean, at
remember.
first it didn't have the exchange.
Okay.
And, you know, and then they added
Yeah.
that on the front of it. So,
I remember when I was 16 buying gasoline, and it was like 35 cents a gallon, and
yeah.
you got a free glass or a
Yeah.
free
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
towel or something along with it.
Yes.
They would
that
actually come out and check your car and your tires and
Oh,
stuff.
they did. They
Mhm.
checked the oil.
There's a
So
few
much.
people here that still wash your windshield.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm shocked.
There are here too in California, but they
Just a
smell so
couple.
bad you don't want to be near them.
Touche.
Mhm, mhm. Well, does anybody want to do the side time? So what
Yeah.
I had in mind, and I had it ready for last week, so that was kind of nice. I didn't have to do anything. This week was a really busy week with well, I'm going to physical therapy now and blah blah blah. Anyway, consciousness blending during projections, right? So we've been doing out of body projections. Now this is consciousness blending. And this comes from the early sessions, book number 7. It was session 305, and it was dictated on November 30th, 1966.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. This is just so amazing that, you know, this
Oh, the
stuff is
teenager.
50 years ago, and it is just as relevant today. And, you know, this is one of the reasons, like the Seth House to me seems to be a place where we've been reading the books, you know, and we do live the material, but are we really developing to the best of our ability what Seth taught? And I think these meditations, these exercises really hone that in.
Mm.
Yeah. And that's why I want to start getting into the inner senses ones too, because they seem to be a little more advanced. All right, so let's everybody settle in, close your eyes, And let's unify the space using our breath. Take a first breath in and out. Take another breath way down deep into your belly and out. Now just listen to my voice as I read Seth's words on consciousness blending during projections. Individual selves will retain identity. They will be able to participate at a high level of awareness with the whole of which they are a part. The whole is far more infinite than you can conceive. In a basic sense, the whole is aware of all of its parts, and in a basic sense, all of its parts are aware of the whole. But each self must go its own way and develop its own abilities and explore the possibilities which it creates itself. Otherwise, the whole would stagnate. The whole gains vivid experience through the life of its parts. The whole needs its segments. The vitality must constantly create itself in new patterns, and each new pattern, of course, brings forth new possibilities of development. Infinity has nothing to do with space or time as you know it. Infinity is the state of becoming and can never have an end, for it is never completed. Infinity has to do with value fulfillment and the unfoldings of ever new possibilities, the exploration of moment points, the traveling through dimensions that ever creates the illusion of time. But since there is no time, what is there to end? The experience of projection will give you some small glimmering of infinity. Pretend that in an exploration during a projection, you found yourself beside a tree. You entered the tree. You stayed there and followed it through the seasons. Then you grew restless and entered a bird who perched upon the branches, and you flew merrily several feet away. A child stands nearby, and you entered the child. You intruded upon the child in no way. You were there within the child like air. All of this seemed to take place in no time at all. The child became old. You traveled to a nearby lake and became a fish. In succession, you entered many things and finally returned to your body. You had experienced centuries, yet only an hour of your time had passed. The feeling that you would have inside this highly improbable projection would give you some idea, though a very weak one, of the feeling of infinity. Now, in one sense, all selves are projections of the whole, or that which is. New universes, such as your own, constantly come into existence. Systems and planes far different develop and in turn form other systems. Infinity has meaning only in subjective and psychic terms. The physical brain cannot contain the idea of infinity. The concept will not fit into three-dimensional terms. The whole self, the inner self, moves within the concept of infinity as you move within physical reality through space. Infinity contains all that will ever be known, and of course, all that ever will be known is known within the spacious present. Yet these very terms, all that will ever be known, are distortive, for they suggest an ending of knowledge and experience, and there is none. Now, there is no place to go if you know what is truly meant by that statement. It is also true that there are as many places to go as you wish to find. You always create the places and the destinations at which you arrive. There are no places, and there are infinities of places. The inner self forms all systems and all places. On the one hand, you can indeed call them illusion. On the other hand, these illusions are quite real. They are the clothing over the basic reality. The basic reality is indeed within the illusions. Look beneath them and within them, and you will feel it. But they are themselves composed of it, and you cannot really separate the two. Words are inadequate to explain what I mean here. Basic reality cannot know itself without creating diversity. The diversity is the various forms that reality takes, the various systems within which it expresses itself through projecting itself into infinite, individualized experience. Now, that sentence is an important one. Each inner self is a portion of the basic inner reality. It cannot know itself, however, except through experience, and it must create in order to experience. The experience constantly deepens the value fulfillment of basic reality itself. There is no alternative between diversity and nothingness. That which is constantly aware of its growing, surging existence through the diversity of experience which it creates constantly and simultaneously. You are part of that which is. You are that which is. It is impossible for any part of that which is not to be individualized. Every part of that which is alive and knows itself. Now, let's take a few moments to just experience this while we're together and safe, while our eyes are closed, and after hearing what Seth said, let's just imagine for a moment that in an exploration, during a projection, you find yourself beside a tree. You enter the tree. You stay there and follow it through the seasons. Then you grow restless and you enter and I'll let that up to you. And we'll just sit with this for a little while. And now, at whatever point you're at, I'm going to ask that you come back to your physical body, leaving the tree or the flower or the fish or the bird. Come back to your physical body and join us again, resuming with Seth Talk today. And when you're ready, take a few deep breaths Wiggle your fingers and toes and open your eyes and come back to the program. So as people are coming back, and I'm going to ask that the Facebook people come back too. Charlie is on. Hi, Charlie. And Anna. Jeffrey. Another Jeffrey. And I'm just going to ask if there was any experience. Were you able to enter the tree? And where did you go? What did you see? What did you experience? Audrey is smiling.
Kind of went into my Willie, and it's nothing to smile about. I think he just abuse came to me. He's been like a very abused cat, and that's kind of what the thoughts that came to me.
So you were picking up information from him.
I mean, I kind of felt it, but
Mm-hmm.
that he's been abused.
I'm sorry, but he's taken care of now.
Oh yeah,
Good.
he's very well taken care of.
Good, good. And you know, animals have as much consciousness as we do. They just express it differently. So everything, the table, this computer, just everything, every molecule has consciousness. And it just blows me away that from consciousness forms all physical matter, not the other way around.
Mm.
And that we could, by projecting our thoughts within different objects or things or animals or plants, we could experience their thoughts, their feelings, what their memories may be. And that might be what you picked up on.
Somebody, I think, cut his ears,
Mm-hmm.
Not from the shelter. And I kind of went there and I just felt abuse.
I think it's interesting that he might have created this particular incarnation with an eye toward experiencing unconditional love after experiencing its opposite.
Absolutely.
Your role in this would be to provide his awareness of unconditional love.
It's very possible that you guys could have made that agreement that, hey, I'm going to come here, I'll rescue you, I'll be your mama.
Mm-hmm.
It's really strange that you say that, because I have a cat, not in my lap at the time, who was a feral cat, and he was about 6 months old, about this big around, sleeping on my porch chair a few years ago. And I started talking to him and massaging him all over because his mama wasn't gone and stuff. And pretty soon, well, now he's, a lap cat. He's got the cropped ear like you were talking about, because I had him, he was feral. They fixed him for free and they cropped his ear. I never dawned on me that he would become a house cat. And he is just a little bucket of love. And my higher self told me that it was a test, but the test was not really a right word for it to be used. It was like a flashcard to remind me the power of love. Because it was only through the power of love did that little scared cat come inside and learn to be part of it. So it was, and I have to say that he sleeps on my face and licks my eyebrows, and it's one of those type of relationships. And it had to have been for him too. It was, I
Yeah.
guess, a two-way street. But
Mm.
that was just happened like last week, all this, when I was thinking about I call him Squeaky because he still can't meow.
Oh.
He was just a little thing. He was just going to state, and he still does that. He's a cat now. But who would
Oh.
have thought a little wild thing would be such a little bucket of love?
Mm.
Aw,
Goes to show you.
very nice.
Well, I have to thank you again, Kate, as I often do, because when you're doing the meditation, you have such a gift for being the highway out.
Oh.
The sound, the rhythm that you create, and the sound, the gentleness of the way you're controlling the sound and whatnot. And I find myself gone. And I only know it as I come back momentarily for a second and then go somewhere else and then come back. I hear you. I suddenly realize I'm hearing you and then I'm gone again.
Mhm.
And it's a lovely feeling that you just slip away. You can feel yourself go. And it's so much easier when you're doing it. I'm
Oh,
really hooked on the way you do it.
oh, thank you. Dolores
It,
Cannon taught me that. She
mm-hmm.
called it rocking the baby to sleep.
Yes. Yeah, it does. It takes me right out. And
Mm.
this time, as you were saying about going into a tree, it was so briefly that I went into the tree. I went in, but as I'm going up inside the tree, the channels that the water moves through
Mhm.
and so forth, but I'm going up into the tree, you're going up like that, and it suddenly starts to do that, and it became a street that I
Mm.
was driving on in
Wow.
another reality. And it was very hard for me to come back because I kept driving along this beautiful street,
Oh.
tree lined some time ago. It must have been 50s or 60s. I really think it was early 50s. And I mean, I wouldn't have been driving then because I would have been about four or between 4 and 8. But
Mhm.
the view I had was of moving along this beautiful tree lined, quiet street in a really restful, welcoming reality. I have no idea where I was, or
Wow.
when,
Yeah. Or when?
but it
Yes.
was very vivid. I did go out into another reality.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Anything, Jeff? No.
No, it's too much noise and stuff around here right now.
Okay.
Hmm.
Around me. I
Uh huh.
got these on.
Uh huh. Okay.
That
We have a
always
church.
helps me.
We have a church across the street that does their service outside.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, Maureen says, I have 9 semi and former feral cats here with her right now. Yep, books
ooh,
and cats.
wow. Well,
Let's
that
I'm
must
see.
not
be.
the only cat person.
Oh no, I see that. Well, it's funny that you and Audrey have the same type of cat even.
Mm.
Um,
And they attract other cats. I have to chase. What am I, the cat house? I don't know. I go outside and there's like 4 cats in the front yard and a bunch in the backyard. And I'm thinking Squeaky, my little feral cat, they're his friends from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
could be.
Could
How long
be
have you had him?
about 3 years.
3 years.
Mm.
Does he go out anymore or is he always
Oh, he loves
inside?
it outside, inside, inside,
Okay.
Yeah,
outside.
he's probably said, "Hey guys, where you get a load of this guy? Hey, come here, come meet him. It's okay.
If
Come
you
on."
if you give him the sad eyes, he'll give you food. Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
they're saying.
Well, we had a cat for many, many years in New York who one day we were on a fifth floor walk up apartment. And one day I opened the door and this cat sitting there waiting for me to open the door. And she's just sitting there waiting. And we began to realize that she had what they call double paws. You had one paw like that and one paw where a thumb would be was,
Oh. Mm-hmm.
another paw. And it was very strange because she would pick things up the way people did if
Oh.
you had an opposing thumb. but I know that was a very magical existence. It was a
Mhm.
very strange cat. It was so human like, and you could just see it thinking and then it would do things. And her name was Velvet.
Velvet.
See his
Aw,
little ear?
that
Oh,
squeaker.
look at that.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's so pretty. He's got these big white whiskers.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
he's just gorgeous. Oh, what a lovely little face.
And earlier I saw his tail in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that was Midnight.
There's another one.
She's too. She's my old bitch. She's old. And
Oh,
she can get mean too if you disturb her, and she likes it where she's at. She hates this one.
oh,
Oh,
They growl and stuff at each other.
oh. Well, that
That's
has a
okay.
lovely, lovely vibration there. Hello. Hello.
she's very pretty.
My boyfriend developed a website for San Jose that helps feral cats, and they're a group of volunteers.
Mm.
So
I
we
don't
love
know
cats.
about other neighborhoods, but here in the Bay Area, we have a nonprofit program called Fix Our Ferals. And if
Mm.
you could take any ferals that are in your neighborhood and take them down there and they'll fix them. It's usually $20. Sometimes it's free. And that way, when you release them back into the wild, they won't reproduce. So they'll
Mhm.
naturally.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Wow.
yeah, it's cool.
Hmm. Well, Maureen said she's talking about being connected to trees, and she has a ring of protector trees around her, the most prominent out front. I always feel one with them to the point where I go insane when someone tries trimming or cutting them down.
Oh.
Yeah, that's always a sad thing. So for me, I did give this a little more time, but I went into a little squirrel that was collecting nuts for this winter. And he just had a little stockpile, and so it's going to keep him, and it was just scurrying around all these little nuts. So yeah, I have
That's lovely.
squirrels that live, lots of squirrels that live in my yard.
Mm.
Mhm,
Mhm.
mhm.
We have squirrels here too, because I live in a protected wildlife area.
Oh, nice.
And they're always digging up the garden and stuff, hiding their nuts. I find them when I go to plant plants in the springtime. I find those nuts everywhere.
Well, we found what I thought was sumac growing like right at my foundation, and I pulled it out only to find that it was actually a walnut
Oh.
tree,
Mhm.
and the nut was still at the bottom, and
Yeah.
the tree was there. So we took it and we put it in a little pot, and Oshara was like taking it around to make sure it was in the sun, and she was watering it, and she was really babying it. And one morning I come out and it's pulled out and the nut's gone.
Oh.
So one of our I'm like, honey. So I put it back in and tried to make it look nice, but yeah, it didn't survive, I don't think.
Mhm.
But the squirrel knew that was his nut and he wanted it.
And he wanted it back.
He wanted it and he took it. So yeah.
I have fruit. I have fruit trees on the side of my house, and in the summertime, you'll see them run on top of the fence with an apple, and they got to stop and set it down and pick
Because
it
it's
back
so
up.
heavy. Yeah.
It's so heavy.
Yep. I see the same thing.
Squirrel in New York had a bagel once.
You know something? Don't even laugh. Here at the Seth house, in this windowsill, there was a bagel in there, and we're like, the window doesn't open anymore, and I'm like, it had to be a squirrel that put it there. And
Yeah.
and there's nothing. There's no, like, it's a drop down 2 floors. There's no porch, roof, or anything outside these windows, but he made it, and then it was gone the next week. So
That's funny.
Came
A
and got
bagel
it.
with the schmear.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Martin,
got
did
hooked on
you
those
have
nuts.
any experience there? Oh wait, you're muted, mister. Let's open you up. You're still muted.
Mhm.
Mute. Yes.
There you
we
go.
go.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I did. I had an experience.
Okay.
I wanted to go out of the tree I ended up in a tree that's in the cemetery down the street from here. That's where I ended up. When you said to go into a tree, that I just immediately shot over there, and I don't know. I guess I love the trees that are in that. It's very park-like. And when I was in the tree, I became the water that was in the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Just spontaneously. I could actually feel myself as the water
wow.
and crawling up and flowing up. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Feel myself
Beautiful.
holding. Yeah. Yeah.
Life-giving water to the tree. That's beautiful. Yeah.
And second time that's happened, because the last time we did the projection, the out of body thing, a couple
Pretty boy.
weeks back, I remembered
Pretty
having this
boy.
floating sensation. I didn't really go anywhere. I didn't have any real experience. I was kind of mystified by it. But I remember earlier that day, I was thinking that it was going to snow. And I realized after we had the meeting that that's what I was. I was the snow up in the clouds. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
I love your experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading something from, I've been reading so many different books right now. So I've been jumping around. So there was a part of a book that talked about how when you extend yourself from inside the physical body and you extend it out of that physical body and you become more your true self or your auric field or whatever you want to call it, and you can feel the shift of the air because you become one with the air. And yesterday I was feeling it, and I call them truth bumps or whatever, but those tinglies that I get when I'm in that spiritual space, or I can say, oh, I feel spirit here or there or whatever. But it explained, and it was Seth explaining it. He was explaining how when you actually become one with the nothingness around you, you become fluent, and you can feel that feeling on your physical body.
Mhm.
I thought that was profound. And so I've been really, really paying attention to all the feelings that I'm getting and what am I thinking at the time, and, where am I at? And I did that I was reading Dreams, Evolution, and Value of Fulfillment before bed last night. And I had a dream, and it was very disjointed and kind of, it went from here to there, and I was able to go from one room and be teleported to somewhere else. And I'm like, after I'm reading this book and I'm thinking, that is really what we can do. That is the power that we have in the dream world. I don't actually have to get in a car or walk to wherever I have to go. I just have to think that I'm there. And so it happens. And I woke up very clear this morning with all you need is spirit. That's all you need. And it was a beautiful way to wake up, I have to say. Yeah.
Lovely.
I know Seth he's bringing up so many things to me, and I'm just devouring these new books.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And I'm only on volume 1, but I'm getting there quick. Well, yeah, I'm more than halfway through.
I'm digging my books out from a bookcase that had other furniture in front of it. So
Oh, now you're reading session volume 1, right?
yeah,
Personal
yeah.
sessions.
But that's because I just ordered it and received it. But then I've got all the old books from before that are on a bookshelf that I very rarely pull anything off of. And so I had other furniture that was in front of it. So now I've had to very carefully remove the other stuff and push it aside so I can get into this bookcase. Well, the stuff I've discovered, that you haven't seen in years,
Yeah.
things you've
So,
forgotten about, crystals that were pushed back on different, beside books and stuff. And it's just a wonderful outpouring to revisit those vibrational fields.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Now for
Mm.
me, it's all new,
Mm-hmm.
and I just can't get enough of it fast enough.
Yeah.
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 So it's very, very exciting for me. and seeing the information that Ron has been bringing through and different things that he's been posting about, this hasn't seen the light of day in 10, 15 years. How amazing that is. And I read in, oh God, again, I can't tell you what book it was in, but I read Rob talking about how he and Laurel would drive, from Sayre to the Hill House because that's where all the research was being done.
I was reading that
and,
too.
Oh, amazing. And all the
It's on
copies
one
were
of the
being
pages.
made.
Yeah, somebody
Okay.
put that on one of the pages, and
Oh,
I was reading.
okay.
I was so intrigued with it as well to
Mhm,
hear it
mhm.
from his perspective
Yeah.
with someone else.
Oh, the
And that,
amazing amount of work that was done
yeah.
to get stuff to Yale. Now, I understand Yale doesn't want any more work. Like what they have is what they want to have. Now, people that have been there, I've never been there, but I've heard from people that were there that you have to order like a box of material, whatever it is, like 2 days before, and then you
Go and
go
get it,
in and
pull
you
it
look
out.
at it, and you can't take it anywhere, so it's right there. So it doesn't sound like it's easily researchable, because I know when I'm doing my research, I'll start in one place, and before I know it, I'm 10 places ahead. It
Yes.
goes, go here, look there, blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't be able to do that in an atmosphere like that. That's
No.
why what we want to do here is have a place where people could actually come and do research and
Yeah.
work on the development and get the Seth message out and work with it, really work with it. Like, I am so intrigued by Dr. Sue. I'm reading his book on cancer, and he is curing this stuff using Seth's teachings. Like, that's his teacher. And, to always help people get into a place where they have hope and where they have love and joy, and that can turn all of that around. Yeah, I just think he's an amazing guy. I hope I get to meet him someday.
That would be nice.
Yeah, yeah. He was here in America 2 years ago, and I missed going to see him. He was in New York City. So I'm hoping that he plans another trip.
That's very interesting. I'm wondering how.
He was in England too. I know he was there. Yeah. He's definitely a go-to see guy. And I've never spoken to him, but he types good in English. Very good.
That'll be, that's an interesting alternate line to follow. Yeah, to look into.
And I think Rick Stack, right? He was your teacher.
Yeah.
I think Rick Stack is the one producing or whatever, publishing, I guess, his books and translating them. And when you read them, you could see some of the you can tell they're translated in, certain times.
Right.
Most of them are just wonderful. His concepts and how he uses it. And he does a lot of Seth quoting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very interesting dynamic going on over there with Rick. Always has been. I mean, his
I never met
connection, his connection to Seth has always been very profound, very intense and profound. And just, he has an unusual gift for making the concepts available. Not even just verbally. I mean, something about his space. Yeah. Whenever you'd go to his place, it was as if you had gone to Jane's house. The vibration was so purely the feeling of having been there. The fact that he was there, and then you'd catch him right after he'd left. So, and I'm thinking about, I think the most deeply profound thing I felt there was one night he brought tapes of the session so that we could all actually hear Seth the way he really sounded, because we'd all looked at typed up things and read books and stuff. But to actually hear him for the first time, I remember I was absolutely frozen by the sound of it. Because he's so, like, if you look up some of the recordings of Jane, like that guy who interviewed her and caught Seth coming out and speaking to him or whatever. And Jane, she was so loud. I mean, when Seth wanted to, he would impress you with the power that he had. And you know that Jane is this quiet, very tiny little woman, small
Yeah.
frame and everything. And then all of a sudden you'd hear this giant coming out of
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
You know, and I I also learned that when you hear Seth being channeled by Jane and you think she's shouting, it's
Yeah.
really not. She's
No.
not shouting. It's the energy coming through her is at different
Exactly.
intensities.
Mhm,
Exactly.
mhm,
Exactly. I mean, it was effortless for her.
mhm.
It
Yeah.
was the difference in the energy level
Yeah.
suddenly was quite profound.
Mhm.
It blew your mind to
Yeah.
realize it. And he
Yeah.
was doing that intentionally. He wanted you to feel
Yes.
the power that you could exert.
Mhm. Mhm.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah. And in this book, Rob in his notes definitely says at times that Jane was so excited about this particular book and
Mhm.
Dreams, Evolution, and Value Fulfillment that she was very excited to get to it and get to the work. And, so,
Mhm.
I mean, it's just wonderful when your life's work is your joy,
Yeah.
and I think that's what it was for
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
I wish
Because
everyone could.
she was right. As she was dictating this, they were working on mass events. She was doing Jane of God, at the same time. I mean, she had like 3-4 projects all going at the same time. I
Yeah.
mean, that was truly a woman of multitasking.
Yeah.
Plus she was painting and
Mm.
and keeping a house going and every other normal thing that people do
Without computers.
without computers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
She was remarkable, and Rob, his dictation was wonderful, and his note taking and his support of what she was doing, and then he's doing his paintings, and I mean, yeah, they
It
really
was
were. It was their life work, and in this book, it clearly states in here they had made their wills, and I have it marked here, and it says that they have donated the manuscripts and archives to Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut. And then he goes ahead and he lists everything. He says our personal effects, including the Hill House and the car, are few, but our creative work is everything,
Mhm.
So, and it lists, their high school stuff and grade school stuff and family data and his comic books. And I know Ron has a lot of the comic books.
Mhm.
Artwork, early published and unpublished short stories. I mean, the Sumari notes. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. The ESP class tapes, and that's all right here in that book. I
Wow.
love it.
Look at
I
that.
love it. Yeah. I mean, this to me, this book is gold. I love this book.
Well, I'll be taking a glance at it soon.
And I think these
Mhm.
books, you can all get these books from Rick Stack, right? I think he
Yes.
sells all of these. And I'm
Yes.
pretty sure that's where I got mine from.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember I ordered a whole pile
That's
of them
where I
this
got
high.
mine.
Yeah.
I think
I
the,
wanted to do that.
I think the regular Seth books are still in print and you can get them from Amazon.
You can. Yeah. But the
All
things
of them?
from
Just Seth Speaks in Nature of Personal Reality, or?
I think all of them.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. So yeah,
I think there's
this
a
is
much
Amber Allen, it says on the right there.
Amber
Yeah.
Allen is the latest publisher.
oh
They didn't look like that when they were originally published.
Mhm.
Get down, Squeaks.
I know there's a lot more extensive stuff available if you want it on Kindle from Amazon than when you want the books. The books can cost you 5 times as much if you want the actual book.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there are only a couple of them.
And I think somewhere there's audiobooks too. I think,
Yeah.
Is that on Amazon? I remember Laurel talking about that she was
I don't
doing
know.
at least the 3 of them, Personal
This was
Reality,
the
Seth's.
original one, not an Amber
Yes,
Allen.
that's it. That's it. That's what mine looks
And
like.
then this is Seth
Yeah,
Speaks.
that's my favorite cover.
Mhm. I do like these covers.
I do. I think
Yeah.
the larger books are easier to read.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
for sure, for sure.
Mhm.
Maureen Roy said they were expressed versus repressed, creatively speaking, and educated,
Mhm.
which provided Seth with a conduit to express through a more evolved vocabulary. Absolutely. And I think Seth told her to not read about other stuff too. He really wanted his stuff to come through without anyone else's influence. And I think that
Tainting.
was, yeah. And I think that was great. But yeah, she was just so intelligent. She taught a college class right here at
Yeah.
Elmira College.
Right.
Hmm. Yeah. Beautiful. Do you know what
How
time it
to-
is, guys?
How
It's
to develop your psychic ability or something like that.
exactly.
Of
Yes.
course.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. I think she did a writing course too.
Yes.
I think she
I'm
also
sure
did
she
that.
did.
Yeah.
I'm sure she
Mhm.
did.
This town has put out a lot of talented writers. You know, there was
Mm.
the Hal Roach and Mark Twain and Jane
Hal
Roberts.
Roach,
Yeah,
really?
he's from here.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah. A silly little town. Here we are. And I'm looking out the street. There's a homeless guy walking up, pulling along a cart with all his things in it.
Ah,
You know, yeah. Crazy.
I bet he
Anyway.
has a very interesting story.
Probably, yes. Yeah. Probably. It's a busy corner.
Yeah.
And they opened the bridge up this week. So now the bridge is open. So it's much busier here.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, well, guys, it is 3:01. That's what I was going to say before.
I'm shocked.
I know it.
Oh,
Yeah. Our time really does fly by so fast. It does. So,
Oh, I
So-
saw a cattail.
I know I saw, that's the
big
one I saw
fluffy one.
earlier.
Big fluffy. Hello. Oh,
These
No,
are my
That's a diff-
old ones. She's like 15.
that's a different face.
Okay.
Yeah, my doggy is 15, but he's still living in Greece and I'm not. So
Oh,
oh,
family have them?
sorta, yeah. And
Friends? A adopted
pseudo
family?
daughter. Yes, that's
Nice. Very nice.
She's the owner of his wife. So when we left, she took him and his son and their son in. So they became a little family together, you know. Then it was
Aw.
our dog and his wife and son.
Whole family.
Midnight's my familiar.
Ah, yes.
She's either on my lap or 5 feet away from me somewhere.
That's a very interesting relationship. You know, it's not to be assumed. Most people don't have that relationship. But when it's true, you can really feel it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Oh yeah, no, I can look out through her eyes if I
Yeah.
project myself there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. And that's what Seth wants us to learn. How
Yes.
to do it, how to do this all. So I will come up with something new for next week. And probably I'll be back home next week.
You know what I would
It
like
snowed
to-
here today.
You know what I would like us to touch on sometime is the Samari stuff.
Yeah. I don't know very much about that at all.
I don't either. It's been so while. Maybe that's why we should
Mm-hmm.
crack it open. Take a look at it.
Okay, well,
Interesting.
I don't know that much. I was told once that I was, I want to say Grimalda, and something else. I was two different things.
Seems to me there's like 7 families of consciousness, and
Well,
Samari is
Well,
one
hold
of them.
on. It's right here in the book. I'll tell you. It is.
Boy, I'm picking out some long time ago stuff from my old brain.
Okay, so Gramada are the organizers. Sumafi are teachers. Oh, I was too mold. And I thought, am I too old? Too mold. Those are the healers. So I think I was too mold and Gramada. They were the two things. And then there's, I don't know how to say this one. Ilada, I-L-D-A, Ilda.
Where are you finding that?
In the game.
Oh, in the game.
In the game. I just happen to see it.
Okay.
So Ilda, travelers, exchangers of goods and ideas. Borledum, concerned with parenthood. Sumari are the inventors, provide artistic, cultural, and spiritual heritage. Vold are reformers. Milumet are mystics, and Zuli are athletes. I am definitely not that one.
Mm.
Mhm.
Definitely not. So
What is the name of the game again? The
Seth
something of
World,
Seth?
the game of all that is.
Oh, yes.
There's Seth
Okay.
World.
Seth World.
Yep. Yeah, yeah.
Isn't there music in Samari, or am I confusing that with something else?
Jane would sing in Sumari, yes.
And there's people on the internet, on YouTube, with violins or something playing Samari.
I don't know that, but I want to say Paul Helfrich might have something on his site about the Sumari, because he extensively delved into this information, and he's like the most brilliant man I've ever talked to. Like he blows me away. I talked to him for like 2 days and I just couldn't get enough. I'm trying to get them to come on the show. So if you guys are watching, we'd like to see the Helfrichs on.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and people are saying, oh, I forgot which book those were referenced in. Use Finding Seth. So I don't even remember the name of the man that did that. Galpin is the last name. I don't remember his first name. But findingseth.com. What I did realize, though, that he only does the Seth books. So the books that were Jane's books aren't referenced there at all. So when I was looking for stuff and I'm like, there's just no reference to it. Now I have found those stuff in Jane's books. And those are clearly Seth inspired, about Seth concepts, like the Oversoul 7 books.
I've discovered that in my walk with Seth, that my friends that are in Seth, after you're in the Seth teachings for a while, you seem to develop your own little path of the own little things that interest you. Most Sethies that I know don't stay in the whole body of work. They're like focused in on astral projection or dreams, or you don't hear much about Samari stuff. Some of the other things, another term that just came up that I should look into again is called mental enzymes. Mental enzymes.
I do remember seeing that somewhere. So
you don't hear much about that.
No.
I just think because it's not one of those topics that the run-of-the-mill Sethi. I mean, it's like you have to be in it for a while to really start grasping some of
Yeah.
some of this stuff, or it just goes by you. And even now, 30 or 40 years later, I'm thinking mental enzymes. What the hell was that? You know?
There was something in this book. I was reading it last night and I read it over and over and over, and I should have marked it. I'll have to look for it, and maybe I'll ask about it next week, because I just didn't get it. And I just kept reading it again and again and again. I'll look for it, and maybe I'll post it on Facebook and see if anybody has any comments, because I just didn't get what he was trying to say. So I'll look for it and I'll post that. But
it's like, I'm surprised there's not more stuff about Samari, and with all the musicians out there, there's not more research into the harmonics of Seth and the Samari music and all of that, because that's quite a vast topic on its own.
And I think Paul did, delve into that somewhat. So Maureen says, Adventures in Consciousness has quite a lot on Sumari family experience. So check that one out. But go to Finding Seth and put it in there, and it'll tell you where to look. And that's my first go-to. I do Finding Seth, and I'll put in phrases of what I'm looking for. Then I'll look in different, excerpts and figure out where to go from there. And that's what I did when I was sent to, and it was so interesting, because it was just like, what does Seth have to say about law of attraction? Go there.
I have a question about Finding Seth. I would look on it. I could not find out who published it. Could that be a product of Rick Stack? Because you're going to have to.
No, he did not do Finding Seth. The fellow's last name is Galpin. Christopher Galpin, maybe?
Because you have to have all of the Seth material in a database to be searched
Yes.
for that.
I do believe so. There's a lot of dots and missing paragraphs. I think it was very complete at one time, and then because of copyright
Copyright.
issues, he had to pare it down somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
And we encourage everybody, you know, yes, go there, find where to go, but then
By the
pull
book.
the book out, pull the real book out, go get the book.
Yeah.
And then read it in its full context to how Seth meant it to be. So I mean, I think Finding Seth is great to get you started, to lead you to a particular book or teaching, but definitely buy the books.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it came about, how he made that, but it's absolutely invaluable in my opinion.
Be nice if we could invite him on. Maybe he could come on Seth Talk.
Maybe.
That would
I've
be nice.
invited a few people. I invited Ivan Kelly, and I'm like, we would love to get to know you. Haven't heard back from him yet.
What
So.
about Mary Dillman?
Mary didn't want to come on live. So I've put a lot of invites out there.
Yeah.
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 And you know, who shows up is who's ready for this time. And when other times open up, then it will happen. I do believe that.
Yeah.
So I love our Facebook friends, and I didn't read all the comments tonight, and just because you guys can go back and read them.
You know, to the Facebook people out there, I usually go back after the show is over and
Yeah.
comment on the comments.
Mhm.
I
do.
don't follow the chat in Facebook because it's too distracting.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I try to do it just because if there's questions or something relating, I do try to get them on. But it is
Yeah.
distracting. Sometimes I'll be looking through Facebook and I miss what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
So
Oh, we need somebody to do it. And I'm glad that you're the one doing it.
it's
Kate.
me.
Yeah. I
I'm
go back
okay.
afterwards, like you say. Yeah.
Mhm. And I do too, because I don't, you know, I just flip through it every now and then. You know, but Maureen, she's had a lot of good comments too. And Charlie was just saying what a good voice I had. So, so I just let that one go.
Yeah, it's true though.
So thank you very much.
It's true.
You know, and
You got groupies, girl.
well, I'm a hypnotist. So
Yeah.
I started out as a meditation leader. So,
Yeah.
and then when I learned, Dolores Cannon's method, the QHHT, the quantum healing past life
Mhm.
regression, she was really the one. She's like,
Mhm.
no, and it's you have to talk just like this.
Yes.
Mm.
You do.
know,
it makes all the difference.
It does. And I know there's some people's voices that maybe like this and they just would never be able to do meditation, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
I'm lucky that I have a voice that it does work.
Yeah.
So yeah, or I would be out of business.
Modulation is everything.
Mhm. Yeah.
It really is
Yeah.
for that kind of work.
A lot of the Seth people in my Bay Area, Seth, are into the in-between life regressions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To take you in between lives.
And they crop up sometimes, and I've done some
I have a few books on
future
that.
life progressions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's all happening right now. It doesn't
It
matter
is.
if it's a future life, a past life, whatever, it's all now.
Yeah.
And the information is accessible. And yes, not all the regressions are human lives. You know,
Mhm.
I had one woman that regressed and she just couldn't figure it out. She couldn't really see anything, but there was kind of a window and she could see like star patterns. After hours of working and trying to figure out all of this, I think she was stardust.
Oh.
And but it had consciousness, and it was, you know, she had a storyline with it, but she certainly wasn't human. And you know, there's been other things too. So the Dolores Cannon books are amazing, and she did this like she was doing this in the 50s. And came up with all this information. So she was an amazing teacher.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was familiar with her over the years.
Mhm.
and Sylvia Brown and so many others. But I particularly got the books about past life regression, not past life, between life.
Between lives, yes.
That blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That really did. I have several of those books still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting idea.
And taking people through the death process. And that's people's biggest fear. And once that happens, it's easy. And there is no, people are out of their body by that time. So it's very soothing for them. I had, at one particular episode, I had a woman that passed, and it was, she was old. It wasn't anything traumatic, but there was somebody in her life that really aided her and helped her along. And it wasn't a family member or anything. It wasn't anybody that was at like her funeral. And instead of going to the light or to the other side, she went to this person to thank her for the support that she got throughout her life. And that was so important. And that was like her kind of between lifetime, is that she just needed to reach out to this human that helped her, that reached out to her. So yeah, it's really been remarkable.
It's a wonderful, wonderful idea. Oh
yeah. And I've done it with groups. Groups aren't, obviously they're not, I can't record them in the same way because you have to kind of come up and do your automatic writing. So when there are private sessions, they're all recorded and you're speaking to me just like, we are here. And yeah, it's amazing. And you can see a lot of them. She's got many, many recordings on YouTube. And Dolores she was the queen. Oh my God, she was so good. There's nobody like her. She's very missed.
Those were some interesting times back when I was studying about that. Yeah, studying her work.
And you can use the Burt Goldman theory or method to get to where you need to get to. You can ask to go to your in-between life and have that intention and visit
Those
that.
Periods of time back then they had so many people that were just all over the place getting into it, and it was just burgeoning forth. It
was, but it's still just as valid today. Like that's how you know when it's really good information.
And
it's all Seth-like
stuff. It's just amazing seeing that Shirley, for instance, has gone back into film and whatnot. And then whenever I see her now, I look at her and remember that she's so deeply involved with reality studies as well as acting. And it's just amazing.
I like that term, reality studies.
Yeah.
Oh, you two make quite the pair.
I have to write that down.
That's right. You guys are just going to be making t-shirt after t-shirt.
Yeah. Practical Seth's reality studies.
Woo! I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to box everything up and head home.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you to all the people out on Facebook and the ones that are going to watch this on YouTube. Oh yeah, the YouTube people. Hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up button. Don't do that one. Thumbs up button and comment on stuff. The more you comment, the more YouTube kind of sends it out to other people. So by commenting and giving us a thumbs up and subscribing, it really helps to promote what we're doing. So yeah. And and then everybody's helping each other. Like we definitely, subscribe to Tom's network. So we all kind of try to help each other out because we're all in this together. Everybody's got their little piece of what they do the best, and we all culminate together, and we're an amazing group.
Yeah, I really like what Tom says. Tom says that we are each a note in the symphony.
Yes, lovely. Yes. Maureen said, "Thank you, Kate and all." She just subscribed to the YouTube channel. Woohoo! Thank you, Maureen.
Oh, that's
I gotta get around to doing that.
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
I sent more thank yous out this week to people that have donated. So I'm all caught up again. So people, I think Martin, you got one coming in the mail.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I
God
love
bless.
Yes, I
God bless you. Yeah.
saw that.
So
Good night, everybody.
yes. Good
Bye.
night. Thank
Bye.
you.
Next
Love you
week.
all.
See you
Love
next
you
week.
too.
Bye bye.
Bye.